The creator economy is not a new invention of technology. It is the ancient law of expression finding a modern stage. Every individual is born with a divine idea, a unique channel through which intelligence seeks form, and when that channel is honored, supply rushes forward to meet it. Online business growth begins not with platforms, algorithms, or trends, but with recognition of inner authority. When a person dares to express what has been placed within them, the universe organizes circumstances, audiences, and opportunities in exact proportion to that recognition. In the digital world, visibility is not forced, it is attracted. Those who labor anxiously for attention often find resistance, while those who move with clarity and conviction find that doors open without strain. The creator economy rewards alignment more than effort. A clear idea spoken with certainty travels farther than endless motion fueled by doubt. The spoken word, the written post, the recorded video carries power when it is charged with belief, and belief multiplies its reach beyond calculation. Online business grows when creativity is treated as a spiritual asset rather than a fleeting skill. Ideas are seeds, and when planted in faith, they produce after their kind. One inspired concept, consistently expressed, can yield streams of income, influence, and expansion. Many fail not because the market is crowded, but because they scatter their attention, denying their own inner direction. Concentrated purpose acts as a magnet, drawing the right collaborators, tools, and systems into place. The creator economy also teaches the law of service. Prosperity follows usefulness, and usefulness follows authenticity. When creators seek to impress, they exhaust themselves. When they seek to serve, they are sustained. True growth online is not achieved by imitation, but by revelation. Each individual holds a message that no one else can deliver in the same tone, rhythm, or timing. The moment that message is trusted, competition dissolves, because originality has no rival. Money in online business is not the reward for effort alone, but the response to value recognized. When creators stop fearing monetization, and instead bless their work as worthy of exchange, financial flow becomes natural. The digital world simply accelerates an eternal principle. What is given freely in spirit returns multiplied in form. Platforms become channels, not sources. The source remains the idea itself. Consistency in creation is not discipline imposed by force, but loyalty to vision. Those who grow steadily online are not chasing success, they are obeying inner instruction. Even setbacks serve expansion when interpreted rightly, for delay is often protection, and redirection is preparation. Growth that appears sudden is usually the result of long alignment unseen by the outer world. The creator economy invites individuals to move from consumption to command, from hesitation to declaration. When one claims their role as a creator rather than a follower, circumstances rearrange. Online business then becomes an extension of identity, rather than a struggle for survival. A living demonstration that inspired thought, once released, must find expression, circulation, and increase according to the law of abundance already set in motion. Inner authority, as the foundation of creation. Inner authority is the unseen throne from which all true creation proceeds. Before a person speaks to the world, they are always speaking inwardly, and that inner conversation determines whether their work carries power or weakness. When authority is placed outside the self, effort becomes heavy and direction becomes confused, but when authority is recognized within, action becomes simple and results become inevitable. The creator who understands this no longer asks permission from trends, approval from numbers, or validation from external voices, because they are anchored in a knowing that precedes evidence. Every inspired individual is entrusted with a specific pattern of thought, a divine idea seeking expression through them alone. This idea does not arrive timidly, it arrives with clarity and insistence, yet many silence it by comparing their beginning to another's middle. Inner authority requires the courage to accept one's own vision without proof, to move before reassurance appears. Online creation magnifies this law, because the digital world instantly reflects belief back to the creator. Doubt multiplies confusion, while conviction multiplies reach. When a creator stands in inner authority, their message carries a vibration that cannot be replicated. It is not the polish of presentation that persuades, but the certainty behind it. Audiences may not consciously analyze why they trust a voice, yet they respond instinctively to alignment. Inner authority eliminates the need for exaggeration, because truth spoken calmly has its own momentum. The creator no longer chases attention, because attention is drawn to coherence. Online business growth begins at the moment a person stops fragmenting their identity. Many attempt to wear borrowed voices, shifting tones to please invisible crowds, and in doing so, they weaken their own signal. Inner authority unifies expression. What is believed, spoken, and acted upon moves in one direction, creating consistency that algorithms attempt to measure but can never fully define. The unseen coherence is what sustains visible growth. Fear dissolves when authority is reclaimed. Fear is always the result of divided allegiance, a mind listening to too many masters. Once inner direction is honored, fear loses its argument. Decisions become quicker, content becomes clearer, and momentum replaces hesitation. Even mistakes transform into instruction rather than discouragement, because authority within interprets experience correctly, instead of condemning it. Creators who recognize inner authority also understand timing. They no longer force outcomes or rush manifestations. They speak when prompted, pause when guided, and trust that silence can be as productive as action. This trust creates rhythm, and rhythm creates endurance. Burnout is rare when creation flows from alignment rather than pressure, because energy is renewed at its source. Monetization, when rooted in inner authority, feels natural rather than intrusive. The creator does not apologize for value, nor do they inflate it. They recognize that their insight, time, and expression carry weight, and exchange becomes an agreement rather than a transaction. Audiences respond to this clarity with respect, because authority invites reciprocity. Inner authority also protects originality. Trends may inform, but they do not command. The creator sees patterns without surrendering direction. They borrow tools, not identities. This allows longevity, because what is rooted in inner truth adapts without losing essence. Platforms evolve, formats shift, but authority remains stable, guiding expression through changing forms. The digital world often tempts creators to measure worth by immediate response, but inner authority measures success by alignment. Growth may appear slow at times, yet it is steady because it is built on substance rather than reaction. When visibility expands, the creator is prepared to hold it, because their center does not depend on applause. Authority within also refines discernment. Not every opportunity is accepted, not every collaboration pursued. Boundaries emerge naturally, preserving energy for what truly resonates. This selectivity enhances impact, because focused creation penetrates deeper than scattered output. As inner authority strengthens, creation becomes less about proving and more about expressing. The creator recognizes that they are not the source of ideas, but the steward of them. This humility paradoxically increases confidence, because responsibility replaces ego. Expression becomes service, and service amplifies influence. The foundation of all sustainable online creation is this quiet recognition of inner command. When a person trusts the intelligence moving through them, they no longer compete for space, because space is made for them. Their work carries a signature that cannot be erased. Their presence stabilizes amid noise, and their growth unfolds according to a law that responds unfailingly to alignment, obedience, and the unwavering acceptance of authority that was never meant to be sought outside but acknowledged within. Authentic expression attracts opportunity. Authentic expression is the purest currency in the creator economy, because it originates from truth rather than strategy. When a person speaks, creates, or shares from a place of sincerity, their work carries a resonance that reaches beyond conscious evaluation. People are drawn not to perfection, but to presence. Authenticity is not a technique to be learned, it is a permission granted to oneself to appear without disguise, and this permission opens pathways that effort alone cannot force open. Many creators block opportunity by attempting to predict what the world wants instead of honoring what they are meant to express. In doing so, they dilute their voice and weaken their impact. Authentic expression simplifies creation because it removes the burden of performance. There is no strain in being true, and where there is no strain, energy flows freely. This free flow becomes visible as consistency, clarity, and confidence, qualities that naturally attract attention and trust. Opportunity responds to alignment, not imitation. When expression is authentic, it signals readiness. The right audience recognizes itself in the message. Collaborators feel a natural pull, and resources arrive without coercion. What appears as luck is often the consequence of honest expression meeting its appointed response. The digital world magnifies this law by removing physical barriers, allowing truth to travel faster and farther than pretense ever could. Authenticity also dissolves competition. When a creator fully owns their perspective, comparison loses relevance. No one else can deliver the same message through the same life, voice, and timing. This realization shifts focus inward, where refinement replaces rivalry. As expression becomes more precise, opportunities become more specific, because clarity attracts clarity. Vague expression invites vague results, while honest expression invites exact matches. Fear often disguises itself as professionalism, causing creators to censor their insight in the name of safety. Yet safety rarely leads to expansion. Authentic expression requires courage, not recklessness, but willingness to be seen without armor. When this courage is exercised, doors open in unexpected directions. Invitations arise that could not have been planned, because they respond to essence rather than branding. In online business, authenticity builds trust faster than any marketing formula. Audiences are highly sensitive to inconsist. NCY, even when they cannot articulate it. When words, actions, and values align, trust accumulates quietly but powerfully. This trust becomes the foundation for sustainable growth, because people return not for novelty, but for reliability of presence. Authentic creators do not need to constantly reinvent themselves, because they are continually revealing rather than fabricating. Expression that is true also invites refinement rather than rejection. Feedback becomes information instead of threat, because identity is not at stake. The creator listens without losing themselves, adjusts without self-betrayal, and evolves without distortion. This flexibility strengthens opportunity, because adaptability anchored in authenticity allows expansion without collapse. Opportunities are not always dramatic. Many arrive as subtle nudges, quiet invitations, or simple connections. Authentic expression sharpens perception, making these openings visible. When a creator is not busy managing appearances, they notice guidance. They recognize when to speak, when to pause, and when to act. Timing improves, and timing often determines success more than volume or speed. Financial opportunities respond especially well to authenticity. People invest in clarity, not confusion. When a creator understands and expresses their value honestly, exchange becomes respectful and smooth. There is no need to persuade aggressively, because alignment already convinces. Money flows toward coherence, because coherence reduces risk and builds confidence. Authentic expression also sustains momentum during seasons of invisibility. When external response is slow, the creator remains steady, because their motivation is internal. This steadiness prevents abandonment of purpose at the threshold of breakthrough. Many opportunities are missed not because they do not exist, but because expression was abandoned too. Early in favor of safer silence, the creator economy rewards those who remain true under pressure. Trends shift, platforms change, and attention fluctuates, but authenticity adapts without losing its center. It allows creators to move across mediums while maintaining identity, because the source of expression is stable. This stability attracts long-term opportunities rather than short bursts of attention. As authenticity deepens, expression becomes more refined and more potent. Words carry weight, content carries intention, and presence carries authority. Opportunities no longer feel accidental, because they mirror the clarity that called them forth. The creator recognizes that expression is not merely communication, but invitation, and what is invited responds according to its nature, drawn inevitably toward the signal that matches it most closely. Service-driven content creates sustainable growth. Service is the invisible structure that supports all lasting growth in the creator economy. When content is shaped by the desire to serve rather than to impress, it gains a stability that trends cannot shake. Service-driven creation begins with the recognition that ideas are given to meet needs, and when a creator aligns with that purpose, expansion follows naturally. The focus shifts from self-display to usefulness, and usefulness carries its own authority. Many creators exhaust themselves attempting to capture attention, mistaking visibility for value. Yet attention without service is fleeting, while service builds relationship. When content answers a question, solves a problem, or brings clarity, it establishes trust. Trust compounds over time, creating a foundation that supports sustainable growth. Audiences return not because they are entertained momentarily, but because they are nourished consistently. Service refines intention. A creator who asks, "How can this help?" immediately elevates their work beyond noise. This question filters ideas, simplifies messaging, and strengthens relevance. Content becomes purposeful rather than reactive. In the digital space, where abundance can overwhelm, service acts as order. It guides creation toward what matters instead of what merely performs. Sustainable growth requires endurance, and endurance is born from meaning. When creators attach their motivation solely to numbers, fluctuations drain enthusiasm. Service provides a deeper fuel. Even when engagement is quiet, the creator continues, knowing that value is being delivered whether it is immediately recognized or not. This steadiness allows momentum to build beneath the surface until it becomes visible. Service-driven content also creates alignment between creator and audience. The relationship becomes cooperative rather than transactional. The audience feels seen, understood, and respected, and this feeling deepens loyalty. Growth that emerges from loyalty is resilient, because it is based on connection rather than novelty. Such growth may appear slower at first, but it carries strength that sudden exposure often lacks. In online business, service clarifies monetization. When value is genuinely delivered, exchange feels fair rather than forced. Products, offers, and services emerge naturally from the content itself, because they extend the same intention. The creator does not need to persuade aggressively, as the audience already understands the benefit. Sustainable income flows from sustained usefulness. Service also sharpens originality. When a creator listens closely to the needs they are meant to meet, their voice becomes distinct. They stop borrowing ideas that do not resonate and start developing insight drawn from real engagement. This relevance attracts opportunity, because collaborators, brands, and platforms seek creators who understand their audience deeply rather than broadly. Growth rooted in service adapts easily to change. Platforms rise and fall, algorithms shift, but the need for clarity, guidance, and inspiration remains constant. A service-oriented creator carries their audience with them across formats, because the relationship is not tied to a single channel. The value travels, and where value goes, growth follows. Service-driven creation also protects integrity. When usefulness is the measure of success, creators are less tempted to exaggerate, mislead, or chase extremes. Content remains grounded, and credibility strengthens over time. This credibility becomes an asset, opening doors that short-term tactics cannot access. Sustainable growth often depends more on reputation than reach. Creators who serve develop patience. They understand that impact unfolds in stages, and that repetition is often necessary for transformation. They are willing to explain, clarify, and reinforce without frustration. This patience deepens mastery and improves communication. As clarity increases, the audience grows more confident, and confident audiences expand naturally through recommendation. Service transforms feedback into collaboration. Comments, questions, and responses are not interruptions, but guidance. They reveal where more clarity is needed and where deeper value can be offered. This dialogue refines content and strengthens relevance. Growth becomes responsive rather than rigid, allowing evolution without loss of direction. Sustainable growth also requires emotional resilience, and service supports this by shifting focus away from self-judgment. When creation is about contribution, criticism loses its sting. The creator evaluates content by its usefulness rather than its popularity. This perspective preserves confidence and encourages experimentation, both essential for long-term expansion. As service becomes habitual, content gains rhythm. Creation aligns with real needs, not constant reinvention. This rhythm supports consistency, and consistency builds trust. Over time, trust becomes expectation, and expectation becomes community. Growth rooted in community is self-sustaining, because members contribute to expansion through sharing, engagement, and advocacy. The creator economy ultimately rewards those who understand that growth is a byproduct of giving. Service is not a sacrifice, but a strategy aligned with universal law. What is given with intention returns with increase. Content created to uplift, guide, or clarify sets a cycle in motion that continues to expand, because it is fed by relevance, trust, and genuine contribution, rather than temporary excitement. Value recognition unlocks monetization. Value recognition is the silent agreement between the creator and the world that determines the flow of exchange. Monetization does not begin with pricing or platforms, it begins with perception. When a creator truly recognizes the worth of what they offer, that recognition communicates itself without explanation. The world responds to clarity. Where value is clearly seen, compensation follows naturally because exchange is simply the material reflection of understanding. Many creators struggle with monetization, not because their work lacks quality, but because their relationship with value is uncertain. Doubt weakens exchange. When a creator hesitates to name their worth, they unconsciously invite hesitation from others. Value must be claimed inwardly before it can be honored outwardly. Once this inner agreement is reached, money no longer feels foreign or disruptive, but appropriate. Recognition of value transforms how creation is approached. Content is no longer treated as disposable, rushed, or apologetic. It is crafted with intention, delivered with confidence, and positioned with respect. This shift changes the tone of communication. Audiences sense when something is offered with assurance rather than need. Assurance builds trust, and trust simplifies decisions, including the decision to pay. Monetization is often misunderstood as persuasion, but true exchange requires no convincing. When value is evident, explanation becomes minimal. People invest not because they are pressured, but because they perceive benefit. The creator who recognizes their value speaks plainly, without exaggeration or defensiveness. This plainness carries authority. Authority reduces resistance, allowing money to move easily. Value recognition also clarifies boundaries. When creators know the worth of their time, insight, and energy, they stop overgiving in ways that deplete them. Free content becomes intentional rather than compulsive, and paid offerings become extensions rather than corrections. This balance preserves creative vitality. Sustainable monetization depends on the creator's ability to remain resourced, not exhausted. Online business thrives on clarity of exchange. When audiences understand what is offered and why it matters, hesitation disappears. Confusion stalls monetization more than price ever does. Value recognition sharpens messaging, making benefits visible and outcomes understandable. The creator no longer hides behind vague promises because they trust the substance of their work. Money responds to certainty. A creator who stands comfortably with their pricing communicates stability. This stability reassures buyers because it suggests experience and self-trust. In contrast, constant discounting, over-justifying, or underpricing signals uncertainty. Value recognition corrects this by aligning pricing with purpose rather than fear. Creators who honor their value also attract aligned audiences. Those who resonate with the work feel respected by clear exchange, while those who do not naturally move on. This filtering strengthens community and improves retention. Monetization becomes smoother when the audience understands that payment is participation, not obligation. Value recognition transforms the emotional relationship with money. Money is no longer viewed as validation or rejection, but as circulation. When exchange is seen as circulation, detachment replaces anxiety. The creator continues to serve with integrity regardless of outcome, trusting that alignment will produce return. This trust stabilizes income over time because it removes desperation from decision-making. Monetization rooted in value recognition is adaptable. Offers can evolve, expand, or simplify without confusion because the core worth remains clear. The creator is not attached to one format or model. They understand that value can move through courses, services, products, or partnerships. Flexibility increases opportunity because rigid identity limits flow. Creators who recognize value also invest wisely. They are willing to improve skills, tools, and systems because they see their work as an asset. This investment compounds growth. Monetization strengthens when creators treat their business as something worthy of care rather than a gamble dependent on luck. Value recognition sharpens discernment around opportunities. Not every collaboration is accepted. Not every brand alignment pursued. The creator chooses exchanges that reflect mutual respect. This selectivity protects reputation and reinforces authority. Over time, this authority attracts higher quality opportunities that require less effort and offer greater return. Audiences learn how to treat a creator by observing how the creator treats their own work. Clear boundaries, consistent pricing, and confident delivery teach respect. Respect deepens loyalty. Loyal audiences support monetization not only through purchase, but through advocacy. Word of mouth grows strongest where value is unmistakable. The fear that monetization will dilute authenticity dissolves when value is honored correctly. Authenticity is not diminished by exchange, it is often amplified. When creators are supported financially, they create with more focus, depth, and sustainability. This improves quality, benefiting everyone involved in the exchange. Value recognition also frees creators from comparison. When worth is internally defined, external pricing becomes irrelevant. The creator understands that different values serve different needs. This understanding removes resentment and encourages collaboration rather than competition. Monetization becomes personal rather than positional. As value recognition deepens, monetization feels less like a milestone and more like a rhythm. Offers appear naturally at points of readiness. Audiences respond with ease. Money circulates without friction. The creator remains centered, focused on contribution rather than proof. Exchange becomes an extension of service, and service continues to refine value, creating a self-sustaining cycle driven by clarity, respect, and the quiet confidence that what is offered is worthy of return. Consistent alignment outperforms algorithms. Consistent alignment is the quiet force that outperforms every visible system in the digital world. Algorithms measure behavior, patterns, and engagement, but alignment governs direction, endurance, and coherence. When a creator operates in alignment with their inner vision, values, and purpose, their actions compound naturally. This compounding cannot be replicated by chasing trends or decoding formulas. Because it is rooted in continuity rather than reaction, many creators attempt to outpace algorithms by adjusting constantly, shifting tone, content style, or identity in response to short-term feedback. This creates motion without momentum. Alignment removes this friction. When a creator knows why they create, what they stand for, and who they serve, consistency becomes effortless. Content flows from a stable center, and that stability is what systems eventually reward, even if indirectly. Algorithms favor predictability, but alignment produces reliability. A creator in alignment does not need to reinvent their message daily. Their themes deepen, their insight matures, and their audience understands what to expect. This expectation builds trust. Trust increases retention, and retention strengthens visibility over time. What appears as algorithmic success is often the outcome of sustained coherence, rather than clever optimization. Consistency without alignment leads to burnout. Alignment without consistency leads to invisibility. When both exist together, growth becomes durable. The aligned creator returns to their work even when engagement fluctuates, because motivation is intrinsic. This persistence carries them through periods where external metrics are quiet. Many breakthroughs occur just beyond the point where misaligned creators quit. Alignment also sharpens discernment around what to ignore. Not every update, feature, or trend requires participation. The aligned creator evaluates changes through the lens of purpose. This selective engagement preserves energy and protects identity. While others scatter attention, the aligned creator deepens impact. Depth often outperforms breadth in the long run, because it creates authority rather than noise. The digital world rewards familiarity. When a creator shows up consistently in voice, message, and intention, familiarity grows. Familiarity reduces resistance. Audiences engage more easily with what feels known and stable. Alignment. NT ensures that this familiarity is not superficial, but rooted in truth. The creator does not feel trapped by a persona, because the persona reflects who they actually are. Algorithms respond to behavior patterns, but alignment governs behavior itself. A creator who is aligned publishes regularly without force, engages authentically without calculation, and responds thoughtfully without obligation. These behaviors signal quality to systems designed to detect human response. Alignment indirectly trains the algorithm by shaping genuine interaction rather than manufactured engagement. Consistent alignment also improves adaptability. When platforms change, misaligned creators panic, while aligned creators translate their essence into new formats. They understand that tools are temporary, but purpose is transferable. This flexibility allows continuity through change. Growth continues not because conditions are favorable, but because direction is clear. Aligned consistency creates narrative continuity. Over time, a creator's body of work tells a story. This story builds credibility. New audiences entering at any point can sense depth, intention, and evolution. This encourages exploration and longer engagement. Algorithms favor this extended interaction, but it is alignment that made it possible. Creators who rely heavily on tactics often feel pressured to perform. Performance creates anxiety. Anxiety disrupts consistency. Alignment dissolves this cycle. When creation feels like expression rather than obligation, output becomes sustainable. Sustainability is one of the most underestimated advantages in online growth. Those who last inevitably outpace those who spike and disappear. Alignment also strengthens decision-making. Content ideas are chosen quickly because they align with core themes. Collaborations are accepted or declined with confidence. Monetization strategy. IEs are selected based on fit rather than urgency. This decisiveness reduces friction and speeds execution. While others hesitate, the aligned creator moves steadily forward. Consistent alignment builds resilience against comparison. When creators measure themselves against others, inconsistency follows. Alignment anchors focus inward. Progress is measured by integrity rather than imitation. This preserves confidence and protects momentum. The creator remains in their own lane, where growth is uncontested. Audiences sense alignment intuitively. They may not articulate it, but they feel when a creator is grounded. This grounded presence feels safe and reliable. In an environment of constant change, reliability becomes valuable. People return to what steadies them. Repeated return strengthens visibility and influence naturally. Alignment also refines patience. The creator understands that growth is cumulative. They are willing to repeat messages, refine ideas, and build slowly. Repetition strengthens recognition. Recognition increases trust. Trust expands reach. Algorithms amplify what audiences already value, but alignment ensured that value was consistently delivered. Consistent alignment transforms setbacks into signals rather than failures. Low engagement becomes information, not discouragement. The creator adjusts without abandoning direction. This prevents drastic pivots that confuse audiences and reset momentum. Stability allows small corrections to accumulate into improvement. Over time, aligned consistency creates authority. Authority is not claimed, it is observed. It emerges when presence is maintained through seasons, when voice remains steady under pressure, and when values are not compromised for convenience. Authority attracts opportunities that do not depend on algorithms at all, including partnerships, invitations, and direct support. While algorithms change frequently, alignment compounds quietly. Each aligned action builds upon the last, creating an invisible structure beneath visible growth. This structure holds expansion when it arrives. Sudden visibility does not overwhelm the aligned creator because they are already stable. Growth becomes manageable rather than chaotic. The creator economy ultimately rewards those who can remain themselves repeatedly. Consistent alignment is not about rigidity, but about loyalty to essence. When essence is honored day after day, systems eventually respond, because what is coherent, dependable, and meaningful sustains engagement longer than any tactic ever could.